ZABoxingNation, where boxing lives, breathes, and breaks down. Today is August 25th, 2025, and today's lineup is loaded with massive news across the fight game. We've got updates from Julio César Chávez Jr. prison release, Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul, now set with USADA drug testing, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder eyeing a mega fight with Francis Ngannou, Pedro da Silva Conceição delivering a jaw-dropping KO of the year contender. Plus, a full preview of Canelo Álvarez versus Terence Crawford and other upcoming fights that I know you need to be prepared for. And then, of course, we'll close this with your favorite segment on this day in boxing history. Let's break this all down. First up, big news from Mexico. Julio César Chávez Jr., son of legendary Julio César Chávez Sr., has officially been released from prison in Hermosillo. He's still awaiting trial over alleged cartel ties and arms trafficking accusations, but this is another chapter in a long, turbulent saga for Chávez Jr. After being deported from the United States earlier this year, Chávez Jr. was facing mounting legal battles in Mexico. His release doesn't clear him. It simply means he'll be awaiting trial outside of a prison cell. For boxing fans, this leaves his career in limbo. While Chávez Jr. hasn't been active at the elite level, except him recently fighting Jake Paul, his name still draws attention because of his family legacy. But with all these charges hanging over his head, it's hard to see him making any meaningful return to the sport. If anything, this is a sobering reminder of how quickly a once promising career can spiral out of control. Chávez Sr., meanwhile, has remained vocal in his disappointment, always emphasizing the dangers of wasted talent. We're tracking this as the story develops. Now let's shift gears to one of the most talked about exhibition fights of this year. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. This is significant because one of the biggest criticism of these influencer style fights is that they lack legitimacy. With USADA stepping in, Jake Paul is trying to silence his critics and prove that he's taking his fight game seriously. For Gervonta Davis, this is a chance to showcase his power and skill against a bigger and naturally stronger opponent. But let's be real, this isn't a typical pro fight. It's still an exhibition with modified rules. That said, USADA being involved gives it more credibility than the usual celebrity boxing spectacle. The big question: can Jake Paul really hang with one of the most dangerous knockout artists in the sport, although he's 135 pounds? Or will Gervonta Davis expose the gap between influencer boxing and elite level competition? Either way, this fight will generate headlines, money, and controversy. Exactly what Jake Paul thrives on. Moving on. The Bronze Bomber is back in the headlines. Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder has publicly expressed interest in fighting former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in 2026. This isn't the first time Deontay Wilder has been linked to Francis Ngannou. Fans have been clamoring this fight for years. Both men carry frightening knockout power, and the idea of these two giants squaring off in the boxing ring is a promoter's dream. For Deontay Wilder, who has struggled with activity and consistency since his trilogy with Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, a fight with Francis Ngannou would give him a massive payday and a spotlight event to reignite his career. And for Francis Ngannou, who has been transitioning into the boxing world, this will be a chance for him to prove himself against a proven knockout king. Stylistically, this fight would be fireworks. Neither man is known for backing down. Both rely heavily on power, and defense isn't exactly their strongest trait. If this fight gets signed in 2026, it could rival even Fury versus Ngannou in terms of spectacle. Let me know how you guys feel about that fight in the comments below. Now let's talk about one of the most vicious knockouts this year. At MVP Prospects 14 in Orlando, Pedro da Silva Conceição scored a highlight reel KO that's already being called KO of the Year candidate. In the fight, Conceição landed a perfect overhand right that sent his opponent crashing to the canvas in dramatic fashion. This clip has gone viral all over the internet, with fans and analysts praising both the timing and the sheer force behind the punch. For a prospect like Conceição, moments like these can change everything for him. One viral knockout can catapult a fighter from obscurity into mainstream attention. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here. Keep your eyes on this young man, because if he keeps delivering knockouts like this, he's going to be a major player in the future. Great job, Conceição. Now for the upcoming fights that you need to be prepared for. First and foremost, Saul Canelo Álvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford, September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the fight boxing fans have been begging for. This is undisputed versus undisputed for 168-pound supremacy. Saul Canelo Álvarez, who's 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, with 39 big wins coming by way of knockout, while Crawford is undefeated and stepping up again to chase greatness. This is legacy-defining stuff. This exhibition has now used USADA as the drug testing for this fight. And then we can't forget about the upcoming fight that was also one of the biggest fights this year. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. That fight is going to be phenomenal. This is something that I've been waiting for ever since the first fight. I believe that both of these guys have a tremendous skill set. Conor Benn being that more come-forward fighter and just being a real slugger. And then we have Chris Eubank Jr., who's just a superior boxer. He literally won this last fight with his jab. Can't wait for this next fight. And on October 11th, we have Jaron Boots Ennis, who will move up to 154 pounds to face Luisma Lima in Philadelphia. Jaron Boots Ennis is one of the most talented fighters in the world today, and this fight could set him up for even bigger opportunities at super welterweight. Keep in mind that he was just in camp training with Canelo Álvarez, so he'll be ready and prepared for whatever Luisma Lima brings to the table. Let me know what you guys think about all those fights in the comments below. And finally, for your favorite segment on this day in boxing history, August 25th, 1950, Sugar Ray Robinson, widely considered one of boxing's greatest fighters of all time, defended his middleweight title against José Basora. The fight took place at Scranton Stadium in Pennsylvania, and it lasted just 55 seconds. Sugar Ray Robinson delivered a first-round knockout that remains one of the fastest in middleweight history. This moment wasn't just about the knockout. It was about Sugar Ray Robinson's dominance. He was at his peak of his powers, showcasing why his name still echoes across the generations, as arguably one of the best pound-for-pound fighters the sport has ever seen. And that wraps up my segments for today. This is ZABoxingNation. From Chavez Jr.'s prison release to Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul, new USADA testing, to Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder calling out Francis Ngannou, Conceição's viral knockout, and the upcoming mega fights that you need to be prepared for. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss out on an update. Who wins between Canelo and Crawford? Does Jake Paul stand a chance against Gervonta Tank Davis? And would you pay to see Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder versus Francis Ngannou in 2026? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is ZABoxingNation, where champions get analyzed and legends are made. And if you're new here, keep your hands up, and I'll catch you in the next one.